The hell you doing, Brandon Ingram? The hell you doing? That's all I've got. What are you doing, buddy? That's all I've got.
Take a sip. That was great. I say kudos to the attempters out there, the believers, the dreamers, those who dare to think they can do something that everyone knows they can't do. And for Pelican center Steven Adams, dude's 6'11", 250 pounds, but in his head, he's doing a reverse handspring to get up after he falls down. He's not even close. He doesn't even leave the ground. There's no way he's going to pull this off. Steven Adams, I love you for trying. Steven Adams, he's NBA player here. He's Simone Biles up here. And for that, I say kudos to you, buddy. Wilds.
That's great.
Oh, but this is an all Pistons Pelicans. Four things first. Okay. Mason Plumlee here with everyone's favorite business decision. Oh, and the announcer's like, great move, great business. What business are you in? The business is stopping getting dunked on. It's the only business where not doing your job is applauded. It's just like having the real estate agent. You're looking at an apartment and the real estate agent just takes a rock, blammo, right through the window. Like, why are you doing that? Like, well, sometimes I like to do the opposite of what I'm supposed to do. It's a business decision. It's not. And I know you're saying, like, Wilds, you got to get out of the way. It's Zion Williamson. He's 6'11". He's 6'11", 250. Not Kevin Wilds out there. After, off for a week, coming back, trying to get his strength. Mason Plumlee.
The old anti-business decision. I love it. That was fun, guys. On to Tom Brady now. Only the GOAT could write a script for how he wanted his first year in Tampa to go and then end it with a Super Bowl win and a wobbly boat ride. No surprise the Bucs want the same script next year. No surprise they want the same script writer, minus the Lombardi toss. Bucs GM Jason Light saying, quote, "We would love to have Tom play here as long as he wants to play." Hey, Brandon, you think the Bucs are making a mistake allowing Tom Brady to dictate his future, the thing New England never let him do?
No, they're doing it the right way. This is what the Patriots were supposed to do, Nick. I mean, I talked about it earlier in the year. Let this man roll his way out of New England in a wheelchair if he have to, right? Bad ankles, bad knees. Man, players know when it's time to hang it up. Some guys hang on just a little too longer, but a good player like Tom Brady is going to be able to look at himself in the mirror and say, you know what? I don't want my legacy to be that I held on just a little too long where everybody was roasting me. You got Nick Wright on television, just talking about how bad I am. Nick, you've been trying to do it for 8 years. 8 years. So he knows.
Eight's a stretch.
But this is a situation, Nick, look, it worked out. He had one of his most efficient years ever, 40 touchdowns. 40 touchdowns, 12 picks, almost 4,700 yards throwing the ball. Like, come on, this dude is still getting it done at a high level. Why? Because you surrounded him with talent. That's why you got a good defense, a top 5 defense, and then you got 3 pass catchers, an offensive line, and 2 running backs. Bill Belichick should have did that. That's what should have happened.
Well, and Brandon, this is, I think, less about Brady at 46 than it is Brady at 44 next year and keeping as much talent as possible around him. So, everybody get their Tom Selleck glasses because it's reverse mortgage time. The Bucs should absolutely let Brady dictate his future because it's not actually about the future. It's about next season. And if you don't know what a reverse mortgage is, it's like, you're in your golden years. It's like, hey, I'd like to have a little extra money. I'd like to be able to go travel to Europe. Never got to do that. I got this money in the house. I'm going to leave it to my kids. They've always been ungrateful. They're like, nope, we'll give you the money for the house, and then when you pass on, we'll take the house. That's what the Bucs need to do here. When Brady's done, they're going to be screwed anyway. They're going to go back to being the Bucs. So squeeze every last bit of juice out of this berry while Brady's there. Yeah. So are they potentially, by giving him an extension and lowering the cap hit this year and putting themselves in a situation like the Saints are going to find themselves in, where they have a $20+ million cap figure for a retired player, are they potentially screwing over future Tampa Bay? Yeah, but future Tampa Bay is likely screwed anyway. So I actually think this is really smart. And it's just something, Wilds, that Belichick was unwilling to do. Belichick is never going to sacrifice future me for today's me's needs. But a lot of teams will. And sometimes it ruins your franchise, but sometimes it's how you strike while the iron's hot as far as championship contention. And so I think it's absolutely smart for the Bucs, even if Brady ends up falling off that cliff that I've been predicting for the last few years next season, because you want to try to stack wins now. And that 8 years
I totally agree.
Brandon. It hasn't been 8 years.
8 years is a lot. All right. So I think there's 4 possible end games, and people talk about 3 of them pretty often, and no one talks about the 4th one. So here are the 4 Brady end games, Nick, and I'll throw it to you. End game number 1 for Brady. John Elway style, right? You helicopter in, you're like, thank you, everybody. John Elway, I'm out of here. Won the Super Bowl. Okay, got that one. End game number 2. The Brett Favre end game. Like, wow, I thought you were washed, but now we're in the Jets and we're in the playoffs. And don't get me wrong, Brandon, I know the Jets are a great franchise, but it wasn't all Brett Favre. But you're not quite the player you used to be, but you're always dangerous, can get to the playoffs, can make things happen. End game number 3 that everyone wants to kill old Bill Belichick about, that you push Tom Brady out, you plan for the future. They're not doing that. End game number 4. What I'm calling, Nick, the LeBron end game. Maybe Tom Brady has another destination in mind. It's not out of the realm of possibility, and nobody talks about it. Maybe he's not long for Tampa Bay. Maybe Tampa Bay will get to a point where you look around like, all right, we need to plan. And Tom Brady's like, all right, hey, it's Tom Brady here. Anybody got a lot of cap space, some good wide receivers, need some veteran leadership? So I think the Bucs are playing this perfectly, but I think there is a greater than 0 chance that Tom Brady doesn't retire a Buck.
Well, and they're trying to move that down to 0, because an extension here would make that a 0% chance, because Brandon Wild's point is, as his current contract, he's a free agent after this year. And so in theory, he could go wherever he wanted to go. And I think the Bucs, when they signed Brady, I think they felt, listen, we're signing him for 2020. 2021 is the tax we're going to have to pay on that. But because he played so well at the end of the year and they won the damn Super Bowl, even if he wasn't brilliant in the playoff run, now they're like, okay, we want to make sure we have him and the pieces around him in 2021. And if the tax we have to pay is a bad contract in 2022, we'll pay that tax. And I think that's smart. I think that is absolutely what they should do, Brandon.
I think it's brilliant. I think they're looking at the opportunity. They're looking at the division, saying there's no Drew Brees, possibly. I mean, I felt like the dude was going to retire a couple of weeks ago. That hasn't happened yet. But if you take your Drew Brees out, then you can own that division. And you're looking at this team and how it's set up. You're built to win now. You have the cap space to bring back a couple of those guys on the defensive side, and you have the offense. You got a young offensive line who probably is going to be the best offensive line in football next year. Tom Brady, and I'll say it, and I'll continue to say it, Tom Brady, you're not getting paid to throw it for 5,000 yards. That was a bonus for you to do what you did last year. Just don't mess it up, Tom Brady. You have everything you need just to be a great game manager. If you do that, you're going to find yourself back in the same position, potentially hoisting the Lombardi. And we're going to be sitting here saying, man, this is the GOAT of all GOATs.